With us right now, Brian Ouellette. Brian, you are the founder of Ask My Advisor. You're found on the web at askmyadvisor.co. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here, Josh.
Now, Brian, you've also started other companies, Pro Athlete Direct, Shoe Wallet, but give us an overview of who you are and what you do. Certainly, what Ask My Advisor does.
It's funny. I kind of joke about, I went from, I wanted to be a financial advisor, stockbroker right out of, in high school. We had a career day and I was like, that's what I want to do. The movie Wall Street had come out and I don't know if that's the best basis for a career choice, but that was a cool movie back in the day. And so through college and then out of college, I moved out to Chicago. First time I moved away, worked on the Chicago Board of Trade, got my license out there, became a financial advisor. That's what I did for a decade. And, we had the boom and the bust. When I started in 95, everything was straight up. 2000, the market crashed. And I just kind of lost my taste for that business to a certain extent. And in 2004, the internet was picking back up and I wanted to do something online. My parents, they've owned it's a ma and pa auto part and marine part store in Edmonds here in Washington. They've had for coming up on, we talked about 50 years there, Josh. They've had it for 49. So just about all my living, since I was 0, they've had this store. And so I saw a retail business. I grew up around it my whole life. I wanted to do something online. I started Shoe Wallet in 2004, Shoe Wallet Active Gear. They're nylon pouches for runners. They've been around for decades. That business still runs in the background, but it was really in 2010. This is the background of Ask My Advisor, this app we've developed. I was talking with a sports agent buddy of mine, and he was developing at the time a database of sports agents. And as a retired financial advisor, I was like, that's interesting. I never thought about working with pro athletes when I was in the business. And something interesting he shared with me was that Sports Illustrated article from 2009. It's how and why athletes go broke. It was a pretty big time groundbreaking article, and it went through some of the stats that showed a majority of these athletes, they're losing the bulk of their money, not 5-10 years in retirement, within 2 to 5 years of retirement.
Oh,
and that was a light bulb moment for me. I was like, well, the financial advisors that are taking care of these athletes aren't taking, there's a percentage of them that just aren't taking care of these athletes. And so I began to research the space a little bit, and within 30 days, I launched Pro Athlete Direct. And initially, all I sold through Pro Athlete Direct was the database. And something interesting happened. Quickly, within a couple of months, I was bringing people on board. People were becoming members. These advisors, some very successful advisors, a lot of retired athletes turned financial advisors, a lot of Barron's Top 100 advisors, all types of advisors, very successful. They're like, I've got this database. Now what do I do with it, right? I've got access to these sports agents and athletes. And that was another light bulb moment. I'm like, well, I come from the background, so I began developing a coaching program. So that's what I did for 10 years. And as we developed that coaching program, we began to realize, wow, sports agents are really a great center of influence relationship, right? My job description, they're connected people, right? They're not just connected to their athlete clients, service providers, other trusted advisors, all this. They're a really great gatekeeper, center of influence relationship to have. So the coaching model really worked on developing that relationship. Some of these advisors already worked with agents, how to get more. Some had never worked with them, so how to begin the relationship. So that's what the coaching program evolved. And as the years went on, you learn things in business. You begin to realize, wait a minute, there's a center of influence out there that's even a better fit for these advisors. And it doesn't take starting a brand new relationship with a sports agent. It's the existing clients of the advisor. And that was another light bulb moment. And that's really the seed of Ask My Advisor and where we're at now. And I'm sure as we go, I can talk about that more, but that's just kind of a quick snapshot of how I got to where I am now.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about, how does Ask My Advisor work? I mean, tell me more about how, and obviously to our listeners, like, okay, is this something I should be paying attention to here? Is it give us the lay of the land here?
We know, Josh, I'm a little biased. So yeah, of course you want to pay attention to this, right? But I'm biased. So don't listen to me, but let me just kind of lay down the foundation and then you can kind of, take from it what you will. But so really back to the idea of, the Pareto principle, right? We see this and my gosh, I apply that in just about everything, right? I find very few areas in any area of life where the 80-20 rule does not pop its head up. And that's really the case with these advisors. The bulk of them, their top 10 to 20 clients, if you're an accountant, attorney, a financial advisor, realtor, mortgage broker, venture capitalist, whomever, your top clients account for the bulk of your business. The 20% account for 80% of your revenues, right? So this, with the Ask My Advisor method we've developed, is targeting your top clients to strengthen those relationships, and then also tap into the relationships they already have. They're connected to. One of the interesting things we found out, the beautiful thing with social media now, is the average person is connected to about 600 people now, between family, friends, work, school, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. The reach a person has now is tremendous. And so 1 degree away from one client lie about 600 people. And by the way, who most closely resembles that one client? It's the people in their lives, right? So that is, we begin to look at something that advisors, in any business you're in, you get away from this. We get the idea that we need to develop new business all the time. And you and I know, being in business for decades now, we just found out we've been in business about the same amount of time because we're about the same age, that develop a brand new client customer is the hardest thing to do. And so many times we reinvent the wheel and try to develop that new client when you can really just further develop your current clients. And that's what the Ask My Advisor method's all about. It's about taking better care of your top clients and helping the people in their lives who are closest to them, those people 1 degree away from them. And the idea is, if they're my best clients, I want to replicate those relationships. And that's what the Ask My Advisor method's all about. It's about taking care of people the 1 degree away from those top clients.
Yeah. So what does it look like? I mean, I'm just trying to still wrap my brain around like exactly like how it works.
Yeah. So what we've done is, we've just rolled out our education series, and within that education series, we share 3 ways of using the method. And the method is really, we want to open up an access to those people. And the way we found the best way to do that is through Q&A. Questions are a great way to open up an access to identifying someone's number 1 pain point, their problem, and then you as the advisor coming in and fixing that problem. You're a problem solver, right? We're in the pain business as advisors, right? We solve the pains, we solve the number 1 problems. So what the method is all about is using Q&A, allow your clients a place to Q&A with the advisor, and then also invite them to share with people in their lives who have questions. One of the benefits of COVID, with all, there's lemons in the lemonade. With all good things, with negative things, there's good things, right? Some good things have come out of COVID. And one of those things is people have all these questions they never had before that have come up over the last 18 months of what all of us have been going through. Those questions need answers. So when you, as an advisor, I'm always there for my clients. But when I also invite them to, I know this is a crazy time. You've got questions, or anyone in your life has questions, feel free to ask me. Give them a specific place to ask you. And the 3 ways we share is 1, through just using a PS in your email. That's a free way to do it. Another way is combining some of the current services out there. There's services like ClickFunnels, Aweber, MailChimp. You can plug all those together, or use our software app where we've created. It's an all-in-one software app where literally within 15 minutes, we've built this thing to be 3rd grader simple. And when I say that, I mean, it's fill in the blank, hit publish, and you're live. And what happens with our software, the done for you option, the 3rd option that I talk about, which is our software, is you can be live with a Q&A landing page now to share with your top clients, and allows your top clients to share with the people in their lives who have questions. You can be live with that URL within 15 minutes. And this is groundbreaking, because now we've got a simple one-stop shop where you can get this built for you within 15 minutes, and now open that access to those thousands of people. And it's by invite only. So when the advisor shares it with their clients, they're only sharing it with their top 10 to 25 clients. And the reason being is, some people would say, well, why don't you share it with all your clients? Because we know if you get buried, no matter how great an idea is, if it's too difficult to implement, we just won't do it, right? It happens all the time. There's great ideas out there that don't get implemented. So we focus on, ideally, just make a list of your top 10 clients. Within the software, we've got a spreadsheet. You make your list of your top 10 clients. And what's the reach of those top 10 clients? We just talked about, it's over 6,000 people you instantly have a reach to 1 degree away. So with this Q&A URL, now you can share with your clients. They're free to ask you questions there. there's something about having a specific place to Q&A that's made only for questions versus saying, Josh, send me an email or give me a call. Or let's set up a meeting. There's something that it's, you pre-indoctrinate the person to know this place is for Q&A.
Yeah.
And, I was talking to a longtime Barron's writer about this, and his light bulb moment for him when we were really focused on the connections advisors have. We were talking about financial advisors because he's a Barron's writer. But his light bulb moment, he goes, oh, wait a minute. My in-laws, they're afraid to call their financial advisor.
Yeah.
He goes, I introduced the financial advisor to them. They're afraid to call him. They're like, oh, I don't want to bug them. And he goes, you're paying him 1%. Call your advisor. And that happens, right? It's kind of like the doctor. I got this pain in my stomach. Oh, I don't want to bother my
right,
doctor.
Right.
Next time when I go in for my physical, ask about this pain that's got me hunched over and I can't walk, right? It's the same thing. Well, what we've done, this place is isolated for Q&A. And the whole idea is open and access to Q&A. And the beautiful thing about Q&A is typically, Josh, like for you or for me, if I've got an opportunity to ask someone a question, and I've got my top 10 things in my life that I've got questions about, I'm not going to sit and think, you know what, I'm going to ask my 7th most important question. I'm going to ask my number 1 question if I got an opportunity to ask someone that. And it's the same thing here. So we eliminate all the fluff, all the back and forth of trying to court somebody or trying to court a new client, all this stuff. We immediately get, before we ever speak a word to this referral, their number 1 pain point. Their number 1 problem. And we can begin working on that initially. And that foundation, when you build it that way, it's a very strong foundation to break. And by the way, this is by invite only, because again, it was one of your top clients that introduced this person to you. They already trust you. They already know you. It's coming from not just an average client of yours. It's coming from one of your top clients. So most likely they've said some good things about you, right? So this is a very strong foundation to start the relationship from.
Yeah. I like this because it really reduces friction. And, anytime in sales or, it's just like, this really makes it a lot easier to just engage. And as advisors, it's like, how are we making it difficult for people to build a relationship with us or just talk with us or communicate with us? And it's like, if I have to pick up the phone and call you, I don't want to call you. Like, I don't have like 20 minutes right now. I just want to asynchronously get you this message, in a centralized location. You get back to me, kind of more of a DM kind of thing am I on the right track with like how it?
Absolutely. That the idea, it's funny you say that it reduces friction. So many times we're about removing the gray area. You said friction. It's the idea of what do you do to eliminate gray area? Because we know gray area causes inaction. Inaction is bad because days, weeks, months can go by with nothing happening. This doesn't matter. This could be about diet. This could be about your money, your financial situation, real estate, whatever. And we want to reduce I love that word, friction. I'm going to use that one, Josh. Thank you for that. Reduce friction, because we're in the business of, it's so simple, but we're trying to simplify everything. We want to help people by actually helping more people. And it sounds funny. So like, of course you do. Well, we really do. And by removing the barriers to communication, to getting your questions, your problems, identified and answered, where we can put a plan together, that's what we're all about. And that's the reason why I say this third grader simple. We really want to, there's great services out there. I use a ton of different apps, softwares, all these things. And if I hit a wall on something, no matter how great the idea is, I'll move it aside and either move to the next thing or forget it altogether, even though it may be a solution that I need and want. If it's complicated, if there's friction, as you say, I'll move beyond. So we made this super simple to literally go in. If you can fill in the blank, which if you're in business, you better be able to fill in the blank, or you probably should be doing something else. But I say that jokingly, but it's literally fill in the blank, answer some questions, hit publish, and now you've got this Q&A URL that you can share everywhere. Now we've got a whole system of how you share it, and a lot of it's done through the signatures in your emails, through PSs in your emails. When you communicate, when you meet somebody, it's a great way to when you meet somebody, you've got a specific place. So you got a question about blank. Up here in Washington State, we've got this long-term healthcare tax. It's the first in this country Us in Florida too, Washington State, we don't have an income tax. Well, this is our first income tax. It's a mandated healthcare tax. It's by November 2nd, November 1st, you have to have private insurance, or you get this 0.58% income tax hit beginning January, right? Mm-hmm. This is important information. A lot of people don't know. I mean, if you're a W-2 employee, if you're high income, it can be a problem. This is a place, something specific, newsworthy right now, that in your PS, you say, hey, you got a question about the Washington State long-term healthcare tax. If you or someone in your life does, ask me here. Ask me, I'll help you or find somebody that can help you with it. It's those we can do timely things. And when you've got some urgency tied to it, like in Washington State, it's November 1st, you've got to have done something. Well, those things are occurring all the time, right? There's newsworthy things happening all the time. Those are things where we close the gap and give your clients a place to not have to call you, not have to email you. It gets lost in the email shuffle. It's a dedicated place to Q&A. And the whole idea is we strongly believe this is going to open up a dialogue in a way that hasn't been done before, and really ease people getting their problems, their biggest problems, their biggest questions solved.
Yeah. So Brian, at this point, who should engage? How do they get connected? Can an advisor join the program? If so, how do they do that? Where do they go?
Yeah, so we're just rolling out. So, kind of some interesting things timing wise. We've got beta testers that have been in the program for the last 3 months, and we are literally just going live as we speak, but we still are bringing in some beta testers. And what I did, for your podcast, I set up a link at askmyadvisor.co/upmyinfluence. Mm-hmm. And on that page, we can do it. I'd like to do it for the first 10 people. We can give you a beta seat, a free, it's $2,500 a year software. We'll give you a beta seat just to be a tester. And all we're looking for is just some more feedback. I think I might have mentioned to you in this in prior email, we're in the midst of our first book is coming out. It's Referral Secrets of the Elite Trusted Advisor. Mm-hmm. We're actually writing with Steve Gordon, who is down in your neck of the woods. He's down in Tallahassee, Unstoppable CEO. You might be familiar with him. Yeah. Working together to get that book. We're about 92% done with that book. Well, part of the feedback we're getting from our beta testers is we're going to be plugging some people into the book too. We're going to be quoting people and taking user experience, all that stuff. So there's a really good opportunity to test something out. It's valuable for us because we love feedback, especially feedback from your listeners, Josh. But it's a great way. If we are driven by helping more people, actually have more people. We want to get this software out in people's hands because we think people have got a lot of questions right now. And the best way to get these questions answered, especially, with, we're hopefully in the downswing with the impact of Corona, but still people have questions. And, one of the interesting things, learning more about you, Josh, you're driven, you believe everyone's got something special to share with the world, right? Mm-hmm. We're driven the same way, something we call it experience equity, right? We've all got our background, our experience, and that's the equity we each bring to the table. Everybody's unique. And we want to help more people, but actually have more important people. And we think getting the software up in people's hands, getting testimonies and feedback from your listeners, we love it. We love it.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Brian Ouellette. And again, your website is askmyadvisor.co/upmyinfluence to be able to get in on what sounds like a kind of a beta of sorts and be able to use the platform. So Brian, this is fantastic. Again, I appreciate it. Again, askmyadvisor.co/upmyinfluence. Brian, thanks for joining us.
And one more thing too, we've got a 5-step referral. The 5-step Ask My Advisor method is actually included on there. That's a one-page PDF that's included on that page too for your listeners too. So
I see it right there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of creating great systems for referrals.
I love it.
Excellent. Brian, thank you.
Thanks, Josh.